The opening weekend of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse saw an enormous swing of $120.5 million at the box office. The movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse debuted in theaters across the United States and Canada with an impressive $120.5 million opening, surpassing the original 2018 animated film by over 3 times. Its remarkable growth in box office revenue from one movie to another is the type of success that would even make the biggest Hollywood franchises envious. According to studio estimates on Sunday, Sony Pictures' Across the Spider-Verse, an animated Spider-Man spin-off that explores the multiverse concept, exceeded expectations and received rave reviews with a 95% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, generating substantial hype for the highly anticipated sequel to the Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Within the often predictable genre of superhero films, Into the Spider-Verse from 2018 delivered a refreshing surge of creativity. This film introduced a new teenage superhero from Brooklyn named Miles Morales, played by Shamik Moore, alongside a punk-inspired version of Gwen, portrayed by Haley Steinfeld, and several other Spider people. The movie made an impressive $35.4 million during its opening and eventually earned a total of $384.3 million globally. The film Across the Spider-Verse significantly broadens the universe of the original, traversing between multiple worlds. Despite this, the film was produced for $100 million, which is only about half of what it would typically cost to make a live-action comic book movie. Even with an anticipated opening of $80 million, Across the Spider-Verse would still be considered a box office success. Surprisingly, what was expected to be a flop at the box office ended up as a sensation, ranking second in terms of domestic opening in the year 2023, just behind the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Directed by Joaquim dos Santos, Kemp Powers and Justin K. Thompson, Across the Spider-Verse even surpassed Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 in the best opening weekend of the summer thus far, grossing more than $118 million. The second part of a 3-part trilogy, which is being overseen by writer-producers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, is a film. The trilogy will be completed with the release of the 3rd chapter next year. Across the Spider-Verse also exceeded expectations in foreign markets, grossing $88.1 million. For a considerable portion of the first half of the year 2023, there were limited options in theaters for family-friendly movies. However, there has been a sudden surge of such movies recently. The highly anticipated live-action adaptation of The Little Mermaid by the Walt Disney Company was the top-grossing film last week, but it was overtaken in its second weekend, earning $40.6 million. Following its impressive launch with $95.5 million and won $17.5 million over the Memorial Day weekend, The Little Mermaid experienced a 57% dip in revenue, which can be attributed in part to the strong competition from Across the Spider-Verse. Despite its reported production cost of $250 million, The Little Mermaid received mixed reviews from critics, but was generally well received by audiences and earned an A cinema score. However, the movie is encountering greater challenges in overseas markets, where previous Disney live-action remakes have been successful. Over the weekend, the film generated $42.4 million in international box office revenue. Over the weekend, Disney provided an alternative option for moviegoers with The Boogeyman, a horror movie adaptation of a Stephen King short story. The movie, directed by Rob Savage and starring Sophie Thatcher and Chris Messina, was originally planned to be released on Hulu, but the studio changed its mind. The $35 million production was well received and managed to rake in $12.3 million in ticket sales. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.